Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here and joining me for my second video in my Disney villains series. Today we're gonna draw and then color in Madam Medusa from The Rescuers. If you're not familiar, it's one of my favorite Disney movies and she is such a jerk. So I thought she'd be a great one. I'm kind of picking villains that maybe aren't the mainstream always showing up, like the Evil Queen and Maleficent, whom I love as well, but I just wanted to pick some that maybe weren't as mainstream but that I love because they're just so evil. So I have a brush that I use once I erase things just to kind of brush it off of my paper so I don't smear my pencil. I have a neat eraser, which I love because it doesn't create the little eraser shavings. And then I do have two sizes, a mono 0 and then just a little bit bigger eraser. And then I'm using again my 2H, which is just a harder pencil so that it's a little bit of a lighter line. And then I have my circle template to use for the eyes. So we're gonna kind of do what we did if you joined me for Yzma, where we're gonna kind of sketch it out a little bit, and I will link that video above in case you would like to check that one out as well. Yzma, I colored her in with alcohol markers. With Madam Medusa, I'm actually going to be using acrylic markers just to change it up a little bit, but still very minimal. I'm not coloring all of her in, just pops of color. So let's just get started. And I know her hair, like I can kind of mark in where her hair is gonna be, and then I can kind of start her face. Can make it kind of round. Her face is a little bit larger, and then we can, you know, kind of fix it as we go. And then kind of loosely put in the shoulder, and actually it's a little bit of a 3/4. So you can put a line in that's a little bit curved to help you put in her nose and her eyes. And then her eyes are just a little bit slanted. So see that a little bit closer. And again, we can adjust as we go. This is just to kind of put in some guidelines for us. And then her eyes are kind of weirdly shaped. They're a little bit at an angle as well. So I'm going to kind of put that in. It's kind of like a rainbow. And then this is her nose, goes right next to that. Her left eye here, the eye on the right. And then you can gauge by how far away. And then it's also a little bit past halfway. So here's a past halfway. And then I'll kind of drop it down maybe here. And then it's very curved, very snooty. Go. And then you just kind of round that off. And it's a little bit at an angle too, and I'm just taking it right to that curved line that I drew before. And then you can kind of skip over a little bit and kind of put in a nostril. And then you can loosely put in the other side of her nose and just kind of leave it at that to start with. And then you can kind of see how far apart her eyes are. So I'm just going to come over a little bit. It also will generally match up with the side of the nostril, so it's pretty close. And I'm gonna just draw the inner part first. Again, it's kind of like a rainbow. A little bit, goes up a little bit higher, kind of on the back end here. And then it won't go all the way to the line we drew. It's gonna go a little bit above that. And then we can connect it over here like that. And then this one kind of just sits. I'll drop it a little bit below, like that. And then her lips are pretty funny. You can just drop down a little bit from her nose. Make one line that's kind of like at an angle like that. And it's a little bit pointy on the top there, and then you'll just bring it down. And then the other side is a little bit more rounded, and you'll take it again kind of like right to where the corner of the eye is and kind of the nose there. You'll kind of drop it down. Looks kind of like a sideways heart, I guess. And then you can put in the actual lip. And on this right side here, it goes up a little bit, but you see more of it because she's at an angle. And then it will come out a little bit here on the corner, but then it's going to go directly up into an angle. Try to make that a little darker for you. And then it's going to round off. It's like she's mad and pouting. And then over here, just kind of, the line just, it's kind of like an angle again. And then it just rounds off to meet that other lip. And then she kind of just has like a line between, kind of like she has buck teeth. And then again, we can kind of mess with it a little bit more. That's why you want to kind of make it lighter when you draw it in first, so that you, when you go to erase it, you don't have really harsh pencil lines. It's like duck lips from the side. And now we can start kind of building the shape of her head. So where you see her head start, where her hairline is, if you draw a line, it's just this little section here, about a quarter of her eyeball. So you can kind of draw a line there loosely, or just kind of eyeball it. And then actually, let's go ahead and draw the rest of the eye. So this one starts at where her nose is. Starts right there, and then goes all the way up and over. And then her head will kind of meet that area right there. And then on this side, it kind of goes all the way around. I think I made this eye just a little bit bigger than I needed to. Maybe that a little shorter. There we go. And then you just kind of go around her whole eye. Just a little bit there. And again, this is when you can kind of start really fixing the shape. Oops, sorry about that. And this one doesn't go quite all the way around, just kind of meets down there. I feel like this needs to be slanted a little bit more that direction. So it's a little bit more of an angle going this way. It's an odd shape. Okay, there we go. And then if you want, you can go ahead and put in her eyebrow. So now we're gonna go back up here and start putting in that head. And then it meets right here, kind of at where her eyebrow is. And then goes just a little bit past that eye, just the tiniest bit, and then goes in just a little bit right under the eye, and then it starts to move back out, so it's like her cheekbone, and then drops down towards the lip, and then just kind of angles off because she's like has a double chin, I guess, like that. And then we can kind of start getting her hair put in. So we know that her head shows right here. So you can kind of start penciling in a little bit. You don't have to draw all the hair in right now if you don't want to. It's just a matter of kind of getting, and you can also, like this part is a little bit funny. So you can literally just kind of draw that in a little bit just as one shape. And then this side just drops down a little bit right where that cheek is. And I'm just kind of gently putting it in right now. This is her ear. It's just two little lines there. It drops under her eye a bit. So you can literally just put one little curved line and then another. And then her hair kind of covers that up. And then her earring. In the show, they're a little bit of a different shape, but we're just going to keep it super simple and we're going to do circles. So we'll put this one in. Right here. And then on the other side, it's up just a little bit because of the way her head is tilted. And you can only see part of it. It's kind of like right up where her nose is. Bring that up a little bit. And you won't see all of it, like I said, so just kind of draw on half of it there. Like that. And then there's just a couple little straight lines that come down. And then again, I'm going to use the biggest circle that I have. And then she has a little curve here, and a little line there, and a little line there. And then this is where her kind of her shoulder is, and then her other shoulder kind of rounds off there. And then you can see her straps of her dress. One of them just starts right where they meet, the shoulder meets. And I just kind of have it flare out a little bit at the ends there. And then the other one's about halfway between her earring. And then we can put in the rest of her eyes. And I'm going to make it touch this side because of the way she's looking. But I'm not going to show the entire circle. And then this one's over just a little bit. And then I'll use a smaller one here for the actual little pupil part. And that actually touches because she's kind of looking down. And then I'll go ahead and put a little bit of the directionality kind of in her hair, so that when we go in with the marker, we'll have a kind of a plan. With the acrylic markers, it will cover the pencil lines, unlike the alcohol markers. You can just kind of divide it up a little bit, just to show some directionality. There we go. And then we can erase our lines. And then get to coloring her in. So I'm going to erase everything kind of off camera. That way you're not having to watch me just to do that. And then I will show you the supplies I'm going to use and we'll get started coloring her in. So I'll see you in part 2.